Back to Balvigyan Bharti with your mentor Abhilash Sarkar. Now, this segment is the last segment of ratio and proportion where we'll discuss a few more problems as commitment was there to complete 50 numbers of problems. So, the rest of the problems we will discuss today. Okay. So, the next problem that will come is number 46. It says if four examiners can examiner can examine a certain numbers of number books certain numbers of answer books in 8 days by working 5 numbers of day 5 hours per day, hours a day, for how many has a how many hours a would two examiner how many hours would two examiners have to work in order to examine twice the numbers of answer books in 20 days. Okay, so let me read it out again. If four examiners can examine a certain numbers of answer book in 8 days, working for 5 hours a day, how many how many hours would two examiners have to work in order to examine twice the numbers of the answer book? So, first thing is that there are three things. The person examining means or the number of examiner, number of days, and number of hours. Okay, hours. And another was what number of answer sheet, number of answer sheet or answer book. AB I am writing answer book. So now the first set. Now one thing you understand when how these terms are related to each other individually. If I say the number of books to number of days, so if I represent it as E D by D, hours by H, and books by B. Okay, so now how E is related to D, number of days, more the number of books means if this number varies with day, so if you have be having more days means what is varying, so you need to have how many hours would examine, how many hours. So here the variable that will depend on other variable is hours. So let it be hours varying with what? Hours varying with examiners means if examiners numbers increases, So number of hours to be worked daily to examine the same number of books reduces because we are working more man hours. So if examiner number increases, hours of work decreases. So hours of work will vary. If there is more number of examiner, hours will reduce. So this is very inversely, understand. So you have to establish the relation first to get the numbers. So if e varies reverse, that means e reduce, h will increase for a certain number of job. If I say that this is fixed, h and d and a number of books is fixed. So to same number of books, let's say 10 number of books you have to examine, and you have 5 examiner, so the hours work is 2. And whereas if you have 10 numbers of examiners, so hours of work is 1. So that means they are inversely proportional. Now hours of work will also depends on days. So if you have more number of days, hours also reduce. So more number of days, hours will reduce. So if you have 10 numbers of days to check some certain of books, working for 2 hours a day, so if increase the day, the hours of work will reduce. So that also inversely proportional. And what else with the books? If books increases, number of hours will increase. So that means books and hours. So that means if I want to examine 20 books, so my, let's say my hours of work per day is 2. Now if it is increases 40, so I have to, because I am assuming other the variables are constant that time when I am varying only the books. So if books increases, hours of work must be double of that if I have to work in a certain efficiency. So if I have to complete it in certain day, so that means you have to work more hours. So the books to work. So if I see with hours, because what you have to calculate, you have to calculate how many hours a day to work. So other things vary. So hours with that all, if it is related, will be related as b by e and d. So this establishment is very crucial. So that means hours will be with some constant and b by ed. So this establishment of relation is very important. Once you do it, so now it will be very easy. How it is very easy? So for two set of value, if I say for any certain b1, let's say the first set of value I am putting at or with 1, b1, e1 and d1. Okay, so if it is so, so that means if I want to calculate k, what is constant? Constant means h, that will come here, h into e into d by b. This will give you constant because this is constant, and because proportional when you will converting into equation, so that has to be multiplied with some constant. So that constant, if I say k, so if I want to calculate the k value, the k will h into e into d on the numerator and b will come denominator, so constant. So that means any set of value, two set of value, let's say h2, b2, e2 and d2, d1. So for first set of value, k value will be h1, e1, d1 and b1. For second set of value, the same thing will change, but constant value will never be changed, because constant means constant, that value. So including all value, varying all values, whatever value will get from this and whatever value will get from this will be same. So that means we can equalize this. Ultimately, if I remove the k from the relation, so only relation is here is remaining, h1 e1 d1 by b1, for b1 is equal to other set of value, if I put, will be equal. Now your job is very easy. Now you see, for first set of value, what are the value you understand? What is h1? h1 is equal to 2, okay, let me take all this together, b1 and d1. So let me write all these values. So 4 examiner. So first set examiner number is 4. Examine certain numbers of books in 8 days. So books exclamatory marks, and number of days 8, numbers of hour 5. Okay, for how many hours would 2 examiner, the second set is 2, how many hours is needed to examine the twice the book. So that means if I don't know the number of book exactly, let it be b. So in the second term, it is twice the numbers of answers. So this only I can represent it to be fine. So that means number of book is known, but not in terms of numerical value, in terms of some relation with b1 and b2. So that relation is, if I take b here, it will be twice of the b. That's fine. And answer book in 20 days. Days is 20. Now you see all the values are known. Only thing is that hours doesn't know. So if I put the value accordingly, h1 no, so h1 I am putting value 5, e1 4 into 4. What is d1? d1 is 8. What is b1? Let's say b. Accordingly b2 2b, h2 don't know, e2 is your 2, and number of days for second case it is 20. Now what is the only unknown? Because b is not taking part, b can be cancelled. The only unknown is h2, so you can calculate h2 hours a day. So that means how will you get it? 5 4 is 20, 20 into 8 is equal to 160, and that the denominator another 2 will come, because this 2 will come over here, and this 2 into 40, so that means 44. So 8 hours a day, so you will be getting your answer. Understood? The first and foremost is you have to build a relation along with all the variables. Okay, so once you will get it, you will definitely have the value. Okay, this is some specific kind of problem, that's why I was discussing. The next problem is (47). At constant temperature, and the pressure of a definite mass of a definite mass of a gas is inversely proportional to the volume okay, fine. If pressure given is reduced by 20%, find the respective change in the volume. So that means the respective change in volume means the respective change due to the pressure, what would be the volume. So now you have to, as I have said, you have to build a relation. So what are the variable here? Constant temperature. Temperature is a constant. Now for first case is a constant temperature. Let's see whether it is varying in the second part. So what are the variable? Temperature is a variable, pressure is a variable, volume is a variable. Okay, the pressure of the definite mass of a gas is inversely proportional. That means pressure varying inversely to the volume, proportional to the volume. So that means if pressure means I would not say like that, because volume depends on pressure, not pressure depends on volume. So that means if I vary pressure, if I increase the pressure, volume will reduce. So as I said in physics also, if there is a piston and this is a constant mass, if we increase pressure here, volume will get reduced because that will be more denser. But density is not technical in this case, so we will not talk about density. But actually, in a sense, when you will increase the pressure, the volume will reduce. Due to that, the density will reduce. Okay, so that is the fact. But here, volume is inversely proportional. That is already given. Even though it is not given, from your sense, you can say if temperature for a system remains constant. Okay, why is saying the temperature is constant? Because if you increase the temperature, so volume will get reduced because your molecular distances will increase and it will increase the pressure inside. Now, if you increase, that may equalize the increased pressure and the volume does not change. So that's why it said the temperature remains constant. In this case, practically this is the result given in the reduced pattern. So now you can understand, so V is equal to what? Some constant into 1 by P. So that means Vp is equal to constant. So that means any two set of value V1 P1 is equal to V2 P2. That would be the case. So now you know. So what is that? If in a given it is given that by 20% what is increased? If pressure given is reduced 20%, that means if I say the initial pressure is P1 in any unit, I am not talking about the unit because in the ratio the unit will be nullified because both the case the cumulative unit or individual unit are cancelled each other. Okay, so P2 is 20% reduced, so the reduction after 20% will be 80. So if V1 find the reduced volume, so you have to find V1 is to V2. So now this is comparative of percentage. So if I say because I have to compare what would be the next volume. So V2 by V1 I have to find, where you are having P1 by P2 because V2 by V1 is the reverse of that. But P1 by P2, when P1 is 100, so that means I have to get it 100 by 80. So V2 by V1 is 100 by 80. So now if you want to put it, the volume, the pressure is reduced. If you want to put it in percentage, what I have to do, this is some value. Let's say this is how much? 5 by 4, that means 5 by 4, isn't it? This is coming 5 by 4. So if you put in percentage, I have to multiply with 100. So that means 25. So 125%, that volume will increase. So that means if initial volume is 100, the final volume after that reduction will be 125% of the initial volume. So that is what is the respective change in the volume? This is 125%. That would be my answer. If pressure reduction of 20%, the volume increment will be 125%. Okay, so this way the thing has to be done. The next problem is 48. If 30 men working 7 hours a day, 7 hours a day can do a piece of work in 18 days in how many days will 21 men working 8 hours a day do the work. Now you can find that work is remain constant, so that complete work does not vary. So what are your variable here? The first thing is number of men, number of day, number of hours. So as we need to have how many days will 21 men will work. So days is varying. So days with manpower, how will it vary? With it, whether it is vary directly or indirectly. If we say, if we increase the men, what would happen if we increase the man? So number of days will definitely in your sense individually think hours of per day if it is fixed, and now I have to finish a particular job. Now there the engagement of men is increasing, so definitely the number of days will reduce, so this will be inversely to the men. And days with hour, how will it if we increase the hours per day, working hours means somebody is working for 8 hours, so number of days is how much? When if I increase 8 to 10, so number of days definitely come down, so this also inversely to the day. So together this d will vary with 1 by m into h, both is inversely. So that means every time taking a constant, no, so that means after that taking constant, it is converting into this kind of thing. So that means this and this all together, whatever the set of value for any case will give you the same value. So that means every time if I vary the value, your constant value depends on the multiplication product of these three dimensions. So d m1, if I take two set of values, for first set is I am representing with 1, second set I am represented with 2, their product will be same. So now what you have in your case, number of men 30, if I say this is 30, number of hours is 7, and can do piece of 18 days. So these are known. In second case, in how many days, so day is unknown, let's say vd, and how many men, 21 men, how many hours a day they are working, 8 hours. So all are known, only d is unknown, that means it is d2, let it be d2. So 18 into 30 into 7 upon 21 into 8, that will be the case. So 7 3 is a 7 10 8 2 9 2 5 2 2. So that means 5 into 9 45, 45 by 2, that means 22 and a half day. So this number of days needed is 22 and a half days to complete the same job. Okay. And another two problems, I will finish this class. Okay, fine. The next problem is the problem number 49. A solution made up of 40% alcohol by volume is mixed with 4 liters of solution that is 10% alcohol by volume. how much in its how much in its of the 40% alcohol solution is needed to make a mixture or that is 25% 20% alcohol by volume. Okay, so let me read it out again. A solution made up of 40% of alcohol by volume. The one is 40% alcohol volume is mixed with 4 liter of solution, that is 10% of alcohol. So two alcohol solution, one alcohol of 40%, another of 10%. Of it 4 liters we are mixing. Here we don't know how much of 40% we are mixing. So this is, let's say, X% we are mixing. So this we are adding. Okay. So now 10% alcohol to be the how much in its of 40% alcohol solution is needed. 40% is needed to make a mixture of. So when we will complete this, we will get a 25% of alcohol solution. So this is 4%, this is X%. So the volume in liter, actually this is X liter. If I assume 40% alcohol is there, 4% of the solution, 10% alcohol is there. So all total volume actually physically is how much? X plus 4. That will not vary because that is the physical. But only thing is that percentage we don't know. So this will be the equation: 40% of X liter of solution, 10% of 4 liter solution, and the solution will become X% of this, 4% of this, 4 liter of this. That's X plus 4 liters of what? 25% of alcohol, because we are equalizing either of the dissolvent or the water being mixed dissolved. Okay, so this 40% means the alcohol percentage here. This is alcohol. So if we equalize the alcohol in the physical amount of volume, so then that will be equal in both cases, because this 40% of X means what? 0.4x plus 10% of this means this will give you 1 by 10, 10 by 0.4, isn't it? That is equal to 40 by 10, 0.4x. This is 1 by 10 into that is okay, and 25% means X plus 4 by 25% by 4. That would be the equation. Now if I multiply it with 4 there, this is 1.6x, that is 1.6, that is equal to X plus 4. So that means 0.6x is equal to 2.4. So that means if I calculate it, X will become 4. So what you have to mix? This also is coming 4. So 4 liter of 40% solution and 4 liter of 10% solution, if you mix, you will get 25% of alcohol solution. This is the answer. Okay. The last problem in this segment, then after we will start some new chapter. We'll see what will be the preferable subject. So accordingly I will choose and I will come back with a new episode on that. So the last is a solution is 4 parts. So 4 parts of water, 3 parts wine and 1 part honey. Okay, if a container of this solution contains 3 gallons of water, how much total solution is there in it? Fine. So you understand a solution having 4 parts of water, 3 parts of wine and 1 part of honey. So there are 3 ingredients that are taking part of 4, 3 and 1%. So if I simply can say, because this compared with the some actual existence of one ingredient, that is 3 gallons of water, whereas if I take as a part, what part of water is there? If I only concentrate on water part, that is 4 part of what? 4 plus 3 plus 1, 8. So that means half of the total solution is water. Now in the second part, what is saying, if the container is having solution contains 3 gallons of water. So water has already said. So water, if it is in a half part, if that have the actual water is of 3 gallon, so half part of what? Total solution. If total solution is divided into 2 part, other part may be something, but the half part is water. So if water is 3, what is your solution then? Just double of that, 6 gallon. So I need not to worry about other 2 ingredients. Rather, if I compare only the percentage, because that is given in parts. So parts of what is water available in the solution? Half part. So if water is 3 gallon, solution must be of 6 gallon. I need not to worry about 2 other thing in consideration. Understand? So your answer would be 3 gallon. So here I will end my session on ratio and proportion. In the next, I will bring maybe some part of mathematics that is needed to be discussed. I will discuss with a new subject of mathematics. Okay, so thank you for now. Bye.